it's Charlie here, and today I wanted to make a video purely focused on those that are struggling to get their first client. I understand how hard it is. I was once in your position. Maybe you're not comfortable, you don't like where you're at in your journey, in your agency or in your life, and I wanted to make this video to purely help you out. There's no editing, there's no fancy stuff. I wanted to make this, focused for the people that generally have a problem and want it to be solved. So getting your first client is the hardest part, I promise. And I wanted to start this video with a quote, that goes like this. So, to live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in that suffering. Now, getting your first client is like a massive obstacle that you've got to overcome because you haven't got any proof of concept. You haven't got any knowledge of, how to go about and do it. So it's really like a thing that you just need to do, and I'm going to show you how you can do it in this video. So please watch if you generally cannot sign a client, because I generally want to help you. Right now it's currently about 2:30 in the UK in the morning. So I didn't say that. It's 2:30 a.m. On a Friday morning. Why am I making this video? Because I generally just want to help some people. Let's just get into it. So I've also got some notes on my phone because I generally just wanted to spit some pure value for you guys on this plain whiteboard at 2:30 in the morning. So let's talk about this. Okay, the first one is going to be warm outreach. Now, in order to sign a client, right, you need to have a niche and you need to have an offer. If you don't have those two things, then you can't really sign a client. I mean, you can without a niche technically, but without an offer, you can't. So if you don't have a niche and an offer, I've made videos on that in the past. Maybe check out my other videos I made on that, then come back, or just watch this video first and do that after. But you need to know who your client. The best way I can describe this, right, is you need to know your ICP. Now, your ICP, in my terrible handwriting, means ideal client profile. The closer you can visualize the type of client you want to work with, the more in alignment that's going to be with reality, meaning that it's going to be easier to attract that type of client. When you can show your eyes and you know exactly to the demographic, to the characteristics, to the traits that this person may have, who do you want as your client? And the closer you can visualize that, the better. But that's more fancy stuff. Let's talk about this. So we're going to be starting with warm outreach. Now, if you've read the book $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi, then you probably are familiar with this. But for the people who haven't, let me explain, because it is generally the quickest way to get a client. So warm outreach. Now, assuming you've got a niche and an industry, do you know anyone, friends, family, anyone connection-wise, do you know anyone you can have a chat with about this? Even if they don't want to be your clients, is there anyone you can speak about your niche with? Because the better you understand your industry, the better we can reverse engineer a solution to their problems. And without knowing your niche's problems, it's really hard to scale an agency. So the first thing, right, is, and this should be the first thing you do when you start an agency. Do you know anyone? And what I mean by warm outreach is we're reaching out to people, or leads, I should say, who have given us permission to contact them. And I'm going to be going a lot more technical into this in this video. It's going to be like crazy valuable. So warm outreach, do you know any friends, family, connections who are in that niche, who you can just sit down on a Zoom or in person and just ask them questions? And what you could do is you could even say, do you know, let me write this down. Do you know anyone? This works great if you're speaking to a business owner. Do you know anyone who would find value in XYZ? So what we're saying is, we're not saying, do you want to become my client? We're asking them, do you know anyone, any other business owners that may benefit from an AI chatbot? But once again, you need to position this not by going into the details, but their dream outcome. So that goes back to your niche. You need to understand your niche's dream outcome. If you can do that, then you know what they want. So essentially, you're going to say, do you know anyone who, let's just say we're selling a chatbot, because I know a lot of you guys watching this channel do that. So do you know anyone who would benefit or find value in saving some hours every single day from manual tasks by, maybe leveraging AI? And by asking them, do they know anyone, what's, commonly going to happen is they're going to be like, yeah, I mean, go ahead, you can try it on me. But we're not saying that in the, it's sort of an indirect way to, yeah, get a client, if that makes sense. So yeah, ask, do you know anyone who would benefit from XYZ, whatever you offer? And most often than not, they're going to say, yeah, you can do it for me. So that's one thing to note. Warm outreach is great for getting your first clients. Like, that's the first thing you should do, assuming you've got a niche and an offer and you know roughly how much you want to charge. Go for the people who have given you permission to contact them, and that is a great way. Now, next is essentially, yeah, Trojan horsing your way into getting your first clients. So, don't know what on earth that was, but a Trojan horse, yeah, it's just essentially, it's in the name, right? You should know what that means. But the way I want you to think about this is, and I get asked a lot, should you do free trials? Should I, be guaranteeing stuff? And I'm going to explain it like this. So Amazon Prime. If you know Amazon Prime, then you know they have Amazon Prime is basically a monthly membership where people can pay, and they get faster shipping. They get, you know what it, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 5-10 years since they've had it, you probably know what Amazon Prime is. But nonetheless, obviously, and I think they've got 200 million people paying that membership. However, the thinking behind it is that, yes, the MRR, so the monthly recurring revenue for Amazon's amazing, but it does another thing. It has another benefit to it, and it's the attention. When someone wants to buy something online, and you're paying, $12.99 or $15 a month, however much it is, of course you're going to go for Amazon when you want to buy something more expensive, because you're already paying for the very small monthly membership. So the reason I'm telling you this is because, let's say you provide a chatbot. Now, yes, you could just go for the big price of like thousands of dollars, but if you can Trojan horse your way into a low MRR, monthly recurring revenue, so yeah, $250 a month. Now, the reason we're starting with $250 or $500 a month is because if we go around asking people for, I'll build you a chatbot for completely free, it looks a bit weird. Like, let's be real, it's gonna make their guard higher, meaning that they're not gonna open up. It's gonna be a bit harder to do outreach, because when you offer someone something for free, it always looks a bit suspicious. So by doing this, or working on a pay on results, or them paying for the costs of it to build the chatbot, we're not doing this for the money. And a mistake I made when I first started to get a client was I always wanted to charge like thousands of dollars for my first client. However, if you can Trojan horse, have the same principle thinking of Amazon, and go for a low ticket, because what that means is, it means we've got their attention. Because even though they're only paying us $250 a month, it gives us a chance to deliver an amazing product. And if we over deliver on this $250, let's say we, because to be honest, if it's your first client, you're probably not going to have amazing skills, but you can have perfect intentions, meaning that you have to rely on your character, and you should say to yourself, when I sign a client, I'm going to deliver them the best results possible. So not only is it a chance for you to get better at your craft, meaning your service, it's also a chance for you to over deliver in value, because we've got their attention, which means that then we can upsell them to the thousands of dollars if we over deliver in value. So yeah, essentially you're Trojan horsing your way into getting a first client. You don't care about the money. The $250, you're not doing that for the money. You're doing it because you've got their attention and you can upsell them. So, and let's face it, once you over deliver in value, we can just copy Apple's business model. So Apple, they literally sell to the same customers over and over again. They bring out an iPhone every other year and people buy it. Why? Because their product over delivers. They've got an amazing product. So if we can use this philosophy and thinking by lowering a really low MRR product like $250 a month to get their attention, and then use Apple's thingy to upsell them to the price you want. But trust me, even just having them as this, and the thing about free trials is that there's two problems. One, it looks hella suspicious when you're reaching out to people offering something for free, but it also means that they don't have skin in the game. It means that the client isn't invested in this sort of thing as much as you are. So they're not going to take you seriously. They could ghost you. They could leave you, just without communicating. So when they pay, like, even if it's just $250 and you deliver and you over deliver, you can also, upsell them next month. So you get good at the service delivery. You have a potential client to upsell in the future. You have their attention, and then you can use Apple's framework for just selling to that client. So so now let's talk about more technical stuff, right? So the warm outreach is great. What on earth have I done there? Oh my God. Let's go back. So warm outreach should be the first thing. That's number one. Number two is Trojan Horse. On a pay on results, something that is very low risk for the client, because once again, humans are naturally risk adverse, meaning that humans do not like taking risks. Humans would much rather not lose than gain something, which is crazy, but that's just how psychology and human nature works, which is another point. Please guys, learn human nature. If you can learn why people buy things, why people book appointments, you're going to crush it. So lower $250 a month. You could do $500 a month, maybe $1,000 a month. But my point is that over deliver on your first client, and then attention, use Apple's framework, and then just sell them over and over again and make money. So now let's talk about the ways you can actually reach out to business owners to get them onto this $250 a month, like the Trojan Horse, pay on results, pay per results, commission, whatever, then paying for the software costs of Stack AI or whatever it may be. So let's talk about this. You've got pull. So you've got pull marketing and you've got push marketing. Now, ideally, you can do two of these. Now, pull marketing is we want to pull these business owners. So in order to actually get these clients on the 250, we need to basically reach out to people. So that's push. So pull marketing, I'll start with push marketing because it's a lot easier, but push marketing is basically pushing your offer onto people. So in order to get people on this $250 a month, this is becoming a bit of a mess, but hopefully the value's here. So we need to push our offer onto people. So this could be, for example, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, email. Like there's so many. Email, cold calling. Like literally you could also just go in person. Like if you want the fastest results, then maybe just man up and just speak to someone or just go in person. Now, this depends on what your niche. Now, one question you need to ask yourself is what platform your niche hangs out the most? Where are they located? What platform do they spend the most time? And by doing that, that's the platform we're going to target. For example, fitness coaches, they spend a lot of time on Instagram. For example, realtors or, CEOs of like maybe bigger companies, it would be LinkedIn. So like the demographic, think about the demographic. If you're targeting like med spas, then Facebook, because it's mainly like 50-year-old women. Like think about that. So once you've done that, you should have one or two platforms that you can target and do outreach on. Now, pull is basically pulling business owners to your offer. So this can be done through content. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two. So whatever, platform you're sending your outbound prospecting on, you're doing your outbound prospecting on, please make sure you've got an optimized profile. Please make sure you've got content or photos of yourself, or just make it look like a real person. Now, people buy from people. People buy from people. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that if you look at some of the biggest businesses in the world, you'll notice that the actual CEOs and the owners have more followers than the actual business. For example, people know, actually maybe not, but Elon Musk, he's got more followers than Tesla. So, for example, Kim Kardashian has more followers than her, Skims brand or whatever it's called. But you get the point. So make sure you've got actual content or Yes, just so when you're reaching out, you've got a following, you've got it looks real. Like there's nothing worse than I get followers, no joke. I could actually pull this up right now. I get people trying to sell me something on Instagram, and this is actually useful, right? Because if you are a what's it called? If you are a someone who's trying to sell something, my perspective is probably valid, right? Because I get a lot of DMs from people trying to sell me stuff, right? So I'm trying to find one. Okay, I'm not logged into my one on here, but I don't really fancy going on my thingy. But no joke, I get Instagram DMs from people who don't have a profile picture, and they have a private account. No joke. If you want to, speed your whole journey up, the first thing you would do, and I'm not gonna lie, I would actually do this if I was you. Let's say you've got a few $100. I'm not joking. This is probably the fastest way to get to 10k per month. Like, you could do this in a month. I generally believe this. So, first of all, you want some nice looking photos of you, professional. You don't have to be in a suit. You just have to look like a presentable person. Casual is totally fine. So, have an Instagram account, depending on your niche. Now, this does depend on your niche, but if you work with coaches or agency owners or fitness coaches or anyone who has an Instagram, like where your niche is, if they're on Instagram, what you can do is you can literally go to an influencer in your niche. So let's say you work with I'm trying to think. Let's just use fitness coaches. You could go to a big fitness coach and pay them anywhere from $250 to $500, and they will shout you out. So it's called influence marketing. You've probably heard of it, but it's generally genius. Like if you've got $250 and you just want to, scale your business the fastest possible way, is go to someone big in your niche, get them to pay them $250 for $500 for a shout out or multiple shout outs, and you will get probably like anywhere from 500 to 2,000 followers on Instagram of your niche, people who follow you. And then we can post stories. So stories with lead magnets, meaning that this is a value proposition. So what I mean by that is essentially you need to start a conversation. So you could say, fitness coaches, I've got a free, 30-minute or 1 hour video explaining how you can get more appointments for your fitness coaching business. And you would get people to DM you asking for that video. Then you carry out a conversation and put them in for an appointment and close them. And you've got social proof because they technically came to you, not you having to reach out to them. So what we've covered here is an absolute ton of stuff. And also document your journey. So on YouTube, I think everyone watching this, start a YouTube. I don't care if you're scared to put your face on the camera. And if you are scared to put your face on the camera, then ask yourself, how bad do you want this? So we've covered a lot. Hopefully I haven't confused you. The first thing you should do is warm outreach. Is there anyone friends, family, connections, who you can have a conversation with about your niche? Ask them what are some common problems in your niche, and then ask them, do you know anyone who would find it valuable to save time or increase appointments or XYZ? If that doesn't work, Trojan Horse into try to get someone on a really low MRR to get their attention. Over deliver. That's like this doesn't work if you don't over deliver. And then over deliver, and then use Apple's framework to basically upsell them or just keep selling them at a higher retainer. So and then we talked about push marketing and pull marketing. Pushing is basically IG DMs, Facebook DMs, and it's a numbers game. Like that's literally it. The more you send, the more outputs you're gonna get. So I think honestly the main thing is just volume. If you're doing both pull and push, make sure you're just doing at least like DMs, at least 100 DMs a day. And if you're like, whoa, what do you mean 100 DMs? Like, yes, like that should be the bare minimum. 100 DMs a day. Like from that, you'll get data. So track your outreach. If you track it, you'll get metrics. If it doesn't work after 2 weeks, but you've actually done the volume, then you can change the input to make it a better output. And then same with content, just put as much content. It's basically like entering the lottery. apart from it's completely free. And if one video pops off, you will change your life. So hopefully this video helped. Now, yeah, we've covered a lot, which is pretty cool. But what was I going to say? My brain is not working because it's very late here in London. But oh yeah, here's what I was going to say. Enjoy the process. Now, you may not be content or happy with where you are currently, and that's totally fine. Like, because obviously you're not, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video, and you'd probably just be retired on a beach somewhere. But my point is that my first ever client and the invoice I got from Stripe was the best feeling in my journey so far. Hitting 10k per month, it was alright. Like, I looked at the Stripe invoice, it was okay. Like, I didn't go celebrate or anything, but the first client was the most euphoric feeling I've ever had in my life. I actually, yeah, probably. Because it gives you a proof of concept. You can then tell yourself, like, yes, this like online stuff actually works. Because right now you probably have doubts. You're probably doubting yourself. You may not be sure whether or not this works. And I understand because, yeah, obviously you haven't got a client. So, but you probably still have some belief you can do this. And to be honest, the whole journey is going to be highs and lows. It's never going to be balanced. You're not going to wake up one day and just feel like thingy. But trust me, if you think it's hard to like do this work now, just wait until you make like 10k per month or 20k per month. Then you really haven't got like a reason to do any work. And it's even harder to do work when you're comfortable. But yeah, if you stick with it, what I said to myself was, I knew the agency model was good because you learn marketing, you learn sales, you learn appointment setting, you learn all these valuable skills. And I said to myself, like, I'm just not going to quit until I make this work. This is the right business model. I'm not going to hop between different shiny objects like, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, for example. I told myself a year and a half ago, I'm just going to stick with this for however long it takes. I honestly did not care if it took me a week to sign a client or 2 years. I was going to be there regardless to make it happen. I said no to switching to any other business model, and I purely just sticked with it, and that is probably why I'm here today. And yeah, enjoy, if you can find some type of, just enjoy the process. Your first client will be the best. It will be the best feeling ever. Enjoy the process, and it's going to be a great journey. Like, comment, and subscribe. I've probably had enough. I'm literally just talking about random stuff, almost at 3 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, enjoy the process, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day. Like, comment, and subscribe.